Hi everybody, Keren here from tuppencecoloured.co.uk. Thank you for joining me, and this is what I'm going to be making today. I have a day job. I work in an office for quite a large organisation, and as with any office, there's usually it's somebody's birthday, somebody's joining, somebody's being promoted, somebody's retiring. There's always something going on that you maybe need a greeting card for. So when I saw this stamp set, which is called Welcome to the Team, in the annual catalogue, I bought it the very minute that I could. It went into my first order, and I've been working on some simple cards, because if you have to make a lot of them, you don't want to spend an awful lot of time on them. So today I'm going to show you my two very simple cards. This one is very basic, just a bit of stamping and colouring, and this one adds a little bit of matting and layering. Stay with me and see what I did. My card base is one of the Stampin Up note cards and envelopes, and they come pre-scored, and you get 20 cards and 20 envelopes in a pack. So these are Whisper White, or this one is Whisper White, and I'm just going to pop it onto my silicone mat, just folding it underneath just to make sure that I keep the inside of it and the back of it clean. This is Memento Tuxedo Black ink that I have here, and my stamp, and I've got the office chair stamp here, mounted up onto my clear acrylic block, and I'm inking it up with lots and lots of light tapping, which I was always taught is the best way to go about it. So yeah, that's what I do. So now I'm taking a little bit of time to centre the image where I want it on my note card. Being very brave, because I'm stamping directly onto the card, but if it went wrong, all I would do would be to trim it out and put it onto a different background. This is my sentiments, so it says, you don't have to be mad to work here, or be crazy to work here I should say, we'll train you, which I think is quite funny. And again, just taking my time lining up, sorry, I should say, with my mounted stamp. And I'm giving it a few seconds for the ink to transfer. So yeah, you don't want to kind of hit and run. Give it a little bit of time for the ink to get comfortable on your cardstock. So this one says, welcome to the team, as you can see. And again, I'm just taking some time to make sure I've got things lined up nice and straight, and to try and keep my inky fingers off the card. Don't ask me how they get so inky, they just do. Okay, so now I'm going to bring in my coloured pencils. I'm using the Stampin' Up watercolour pencils, but of course you could use whatever coloured pencils you happen to have handy. And this is Pacific Point. So I've chosen that colour because the chairs in our office are upholstered in blue. So it's quite a good match. So if I'm making this for somebody where I work, you know, just want to make them feel at home really. I'm keeping the lead of the pencil quite flat to the card, and just colouring in with the side of the lead. This time I've got some basic grey, and my big sausage fingers are getting in the way, so I apologise for that. I'm just taking my time with the colouring and just filling in the arms and the legs of my office chair. And now I'm going to ground my chair, so making it look like it's not floating in midair, with a bit of old olive And again, actually, I didn't think of this when I was colouring it in, but it does actually match the office carpet. So yeah, there's my finished card. So that was my simply stamped card, but what could you do if you didn't get your stamping straight? Which happens to me more often than you would believe, or perhaps you would believe if you know me at all. So I've got my sentiments stamped onto this piece of card, and I've got a craft knife and a ruler, and all I'm doing is just lightly stroking the card with the blade of the knife, and I'm trying to put hardly any pressure at all, just light strokes but repeated. So now I'm trying to level this up with more or less degrees of success. And the craft rulers that are clear and have got the grid lines on them are a big help when you're trying to do that sort of thing. Okay, so now I've got my piece of card, and I'm just going to make the ends look pretty, so give them a sort of a banner effect. And all I'm doing is snipping about halfway up the card and then going from corner to corner on the bit that I've snipped. Actually I did decide to chop those bits off in the end, but that is how you would go about doing it if that was the effect that you wanted. Okay, so now I'm just repeating the process and trimming out the words "Welcome to the team." So again, picking up my craft knife and lots of light strokes. And here's another copy of my stamped and coloured chair, and this time I'm going to punch it out with my timeless label punch. So just lining things up carefully there and giving that a quick squeeze, and out pops my stamped piece of card. Now everything's ready to put together into a finished card. I've cut myself a piece of granny apple green card, which is I've cut it to 3 1/4 by 4 3/4, as the note card is 3 1/2 inches by 5 when it's folded. Just taking a little bit of time to make sure that my granny apple green mat is nice and straight. And that's one of the reasons why I do like to use a liquid adhesive, because it does give you some wiggle room. But if you prefer double-sided tape or a tape runner, you know, that's entirely up to you. There are no stamping police. Nobody will come and get you and tell you that you're doing it wrong. It's entirely what works for you. Okay, so I've cut a matting layer of the Seaside Spray DSP. Now this comes in a 6x6 pack, 6x6 size, sorry. So I've cut a piece that's 3 inches wide by 4 1/2, and the bit that's left over, I've kept that piece as well, and I'm going to use that on the front of my card as well. So again, with my liquid adhesive and lining that up, and because it's cut a little bit smaller than the granny apple green mat, the Seaside Spray layer has got a nice little border all around it. So I'm going to put this little offcut across the middle of the card, a little bit higher up than halfway. And when I finished this, I did actually think maybe I could have put it a little bit lower down, but do you know what, it is what it is, and we're going to live with it. So here is my trimmed sentiment, the one that says "Don't have to be crazy to work here. We'll train you." I think some of my colleagues would probably buy into that one. And the "Welcome to the team." Yeah, so this is what you can do if your stamping isn't straight. Just trim it down and use it on another card. There are no mistakes, there are only changes of design direction. Now I'm putting a couple of dimensionals onto my punched out centerpiece, taking the backing off, and I'm just going to center that into the middle of my card, and job done. So there are my two simply stamped cards. 3, 2, 1. So there are my two simple stamped cards. This one would be absolutely perfect if all you've got is the stamp set, some ink and some coloured pencils. And this one, if you've got the odd punch and some pattern paper that you could use on your card. So that is it for today. Thank you very, very much for joining me. I would love it if you came back and saw me again sometime soon. But for now, bye bye.